John, how's the week in training been gone after the first defeat of the season?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think it's been really positive because we had a meeting on Tuesday reviewing the game, and in all honesty, I was delighted with the players' honesty, openness, and the self-analysis, because the points I wanted to bring up, they were already bringing them up, and they've held their hands up, and they felt that they can do much better. And when you've got a group of players who are willing to do that, you're on a good footing. So it was hard to take, was a defeat, but in all honesty, it might be good for us in the long run in the development of us as a group and us as a team and us as a club.
Did that players' openness and honesty come as a shock to you, John?
No, it didn't, but it's really because sometimes players just clamp up. When it's obviously a critical review, which it was bound to be because we weren't happy with how we played, some players can clamp up. Well, there was no clamping up. The leaders led. They really did, and there was a lot of hands held up about where they fell short and where they could have done better, and it was illuminating and fascinating as well for me as a coach, and it was also very rewarding as well. So I feel we've got a good group of players, a special group of players here, and in a perverse way, that loss has brought us even closer, and I think it's brought us even more open and honest with each other.
They say a good measure of any side, John, is how they bounce back after a setback, and on Sunday it's the Coventry Bears at Odsal.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously that holds its own challenges, but I don't like this Sunday to be in the Doncaster game, to tell the truth, because I really do feel as if they've a point to prove. But I'm going to tinker with the team a little for various reasons, and then obviously, hopefully we have a better performance against Coventry, hopefully the results in the positive, and then we can look forward to Warrington, which I see as a free hit, and then obviously it's like a knockout game for me when we travel to the Kear for Doncaster the week after.
You mentioned tinkering with the side. What can we expect on Sunday? Because I believe there's a couple of new additions that are arriving. There
is, yes, and you know, I've got to applaud Andrew Chalmers, who really has backed us once again, and we've got a couple of loan signings coming in. One's James Laithwaite, the back rower, who's got a pretty good CV, schooled really in Warrington, and obviously he's at Toronto now. Isn't playing at Toronto, so we've secured him for a month, and obviously he will feature against Coventry. Unfortunately for us, he's cup tied, and then obviously we've worked with Castleford and with John Wells and Darryl Powell in particular, and we've secured Jai Hitchcocks to come in, and he really will replace Jake Butler-Fleming, who's returned to Toronto. So we feel it's a pretty good replacement. You know, he's a player who last October ran out against Leeds for Castleford in the grand final, so that's a measure of the quality of the guy.
And you mentioned Jai Hitchcock's quality. He scored that wonder try against Catalans in the south of France.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad try, was it? You know, he'll be rivaling Ethan Ryan for some of the finishes that he's got, and you know, they may well end up playing as a centre wing pairing, because I want to find out really where Jai will offer us most value, because he is a renowned fullback, as Featherstone fans will know. He's a renowned wingman, as Castleford fans will know, and he's played centre in the NRL. So he's got a good pedigree, and his first shot for us this coming week will be at left centre. And should Ethan Ryan come through his little fitness test, because he's got tight hamstrings, should he come through that, they might well be partnering each other, and it'll be an exciting little partnership down our left hand side.
Were these signings always on the horizon, John, or are these a reaction to that first defeat?
No, they're not a reaction. No, I mean, I think it's, you know, it's difficult for fans to understand that it's like building a wall. First of all, you have to dig it out, then you have to put the foundations in, and then it's only when you start seeing the brickwork that people realise there's been a lot of work that's been going on previously. So no, it's not that. I always felt we needed another second rower, because we've got three really good ones in young Liam Johnson, who's making great strides, Matty Garside, Elliot Minchella, but a fourth one allows us A, to rotate, B, to pick on form, and C, it frees up Elliot Minchella as well, should I need to play him in the middle or in the halves, because obviously he's a very accomplished player there as well.
You mentioned Ethan Ryan potentially having a late fitness test. Is there any other injury concerns that were picked up from the game against Workington?
Yeah, Ross Peltier, he's got a foot injury, and again, you know, we're going to err on the side of safety. You know, if anybody's got a broken fingernail, they'll end up sitting in the sand with you, Mick. So, you know, we're not going to risk anybody whatsoever, because, yes, we're going to respect Coventry, but we do start as favourites, and the quality of our team should ensure that, and should ensure a favourable result. But we're also fully aware we've got the Warrington game, which I think everybody in Bradford should be getting excited about. I am. And then obviously we've got that knockout game, that was, we call that playoff game, with Doncaster the week after. So we've got a real interesting 3 weeks, and this first game is obviously important in that preparation for the other two coming up.
Do we have an injury update on Greg McNally?
Yeah, we're pretty confident that Greg will be all right for the Warrington game. But again, we're not going to shout it from the rooftops. We're going to make sure that come next Thursday, which is when we'll finalise everything for Warrington, that will be the decision day for Greg. But our medical staff's confident, Greg McNally's more confident, and that pleases me. So yeah, I think he's got a fair chance for that one.
It's a double header at Odsall. You're going to be the precursor to the start of the Women's Super League. I mean, it promises to be a great occasion for the sport of rugby league and for the city of Bradford. It
does, yeah. I mean, obviously the ladies team were fantastic last year. They did the double, so you know, I'm hoping we can be half as. We'll just settle for winning the league this year. So you know, I'm hoping we can be half as successful as they were. They've got to be congratulated for what they achieved. But there's a challenge for them, you know, Mick, because. They won last year, but it's expanded as a competition. There's greater depth in the competition. There's greater quality in the competition. So they're going to get 1 or 2 questions asked of them, just as we are in the men's team. And we came up short against Workington. Well, I'm hoping that the ladies don't come up short against the Leeds Rhinos.
Have you spoke to the women's head coach, Mark Prescott, shared potential ideas?
I haven't, no. I mean, to tell you the truth, I've been digging the foundations out for Jay Ipscott and James Lathwaite and reviewing the working game, so it's been a pretty busy week, but it's been a very rewarding week.
And just finally, John, 6 rounds into League One, the table's starting to take shape, and Bradford currently second, Doncaster top. I mean, York as well on 8 points. It really is a competitive division in 2018.
It is. It's a heck of a division, and I've spoken to you before, Mick, and I've said that I believe the top 8 of League One could certainly challenge the bottom 6 of the Championship, and there's nothing that will convince me otherwise. So I think that's how good this division is, and I think that's the challenge that's given to us in order to achieve success in it. And we know full well, as we said before this, that York are going to be up there, Oldham are going to be up there, Working are going to be up there, Whitehaven are going to be up there, Keighley are going to be up there, and I'll tell you what, Doncaster is certainly going to be up there. So we've got some challenges ahead of us, and we've got to meet them head on.